98.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Center Table Podcast. My name is Randy. I'm here with my co-host and commander, Ryan Grondin. And tonight we have none other than seven-time WAF champion and CFO, I believe, of EVW Sports, East versus West Armwrestling. Is that right, CFO?
Actually, CEO, but
CEO.
Okay. I'll take anything.
Any of those. Awesome.
Any of those. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Robert. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be on. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, glad we can make it work. So we're Ryan and myself. We're a little under the weather. We had an event over the weekend. We kind of got sick a little bit. Fun tournament, good turnout, but just hang with us. You know, we might have to mute our mics if we have to cough or something. You know, that's just the way it goes in the wintertime sometimes. So yeah, Robert. I guess I'll start off with a couple questions here. So actually, I'll start out with kind of a story from East versus West 21, Atlantic City. That's when we first got to meet you, which was awesome. Also got to meet Dexter, bunch of athletes. It was a great time. Jerry versus Camille, round 3, when Jerry goes to do a King's move and pins Camille. What was going through your head when you were watching this?
I wasn't as surprised as I normally would have been, because Jerry said in the press conference that he's got a surprise for Camille, and so I thought, okay, well, he's not going to press, you know, at least on every match or every round. So, but I was surprised a little bit, still.
Yeah, and the crowd reaction was insane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was
nice.
Oh yeah, match of the night, absolutely. Yep. And Ryan and I were seated next to each other, and I was screaming in Ryan's ear. We were jumping out of our seats and stuff. It was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, we just started this in Switzerland, the match of the night. So everybody gets a bonus. You know, both athletes of the match get a bonus if they're selected. And this one, I was torn between Prudnik and Jordan Sanoff, and then Jerry and Camille. And because of the crowd reaction, I mean, the whole room went ballistic. And on camera, I mean, if you go back and listen to the pay-per-view, you can't really hear it as well. But you were there in person with me, and the whole room erupted. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. It was completely insane. Like,
yep.
You know, the only other kind of loud crowd that I've been a part of like that was at King of the Table in Atlantic City. You know, and there were some moments there where, you know, the place was going nuts, especially when Levon was there. There was a lot of Georgians in the crowd.
Yes. With the Georgian flags hanging up.
Yeah.
They really, it was awesome.
Yeah. Ryan, actually, you said one of our local poolers actually brought a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, he brought
Georgians.
He brought a bunch of Georgians from his church, and they brought flags and stuff. So a lot of those Georgians that showed up weren't even arm wrestlers. They were just there to support Levon as a fellow Georgian.
Which was
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the same thing happened in Chicago when Levon pulled Ermis. There were a lot of Georgians in the crowd, and actually Georgians came out of the woodwork, restaurateurs, and you know, professional people showed up, and just to support a fellow Georgian, and some pretty cool stuff. They treated us to a great Georgian meal, unbelievably good, and just wouldn't let us pay, and I mean, that just a lot of hospitality there with the Georgians.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I did see some of that footage where you guys went out to eat with him, I believe.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Levon really opened up in there. That I know there's a lot of controversy over Drew, the kind of the
Mm.
Hollywood guy, that does interviews.
Yeah.
But he got Levon to open up more than I've ever seen him ever. I mean, those interviews, he really connected and made Levon feel very comfortable and got him to really talk about his past, about anything really.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
great.
cool.
That's an important factor too when you're growing the sport like you are and trying to introduce it to new people is learning about these athletes. Especially maybe a guy from a country like Georgia where we don't know basically anything about the guy other than he's an arm wrestler. So you kind of learn their upbringing, all these different stories. So that's really cool though that Drew was able to make him feel comfortable enough to talk about some of those things.
Yeah, it was nice. You got to see like the kind of the human side, the real side. I mean, the background, and you get to connect more to um, Levon and other athletes, which is what we want to do for all the athletes actually, but in a
Yeah.
in a bigger way. We want to have these background stories, at least background stories, and then documentaries as well. So as you may know, Devin's done it, or it's almost finished. It's been going on for 2.5 years. This big documentary that'll be going to the film festivals this year,
Yeah.
and so it'll be distributed. It'll be a big deal. It'll be probably much bigger than Pulling John as far
Wow.
as the scope, just worldwide. It'll do a lot. It's kind of they call it, the the film company, Balboa Films, like that was with started out with Balboa Films, and now it's kind of switched to different hands. But that's Sylvester Stallone's film company, and they said this is the way they view this is a door kicker. This is going to really open the world to arm wrestling. This
That's great.
documentary on Devin. It's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think people actually started watching Formula One racing because of like a documentary on Netflix about Formula One
Exactly.
racing.
Yeah,
So
that's so we're not doing anything new. We're basically just following the script of what's worked for other people, and that's exactly right. We want to do the same thing that F1 has done, but start with at least background stories. So we go in to wherever the athlete lives and show up at their work, at their home, in their gym, and kind of get to know the athlete, but also but that's edited down to just really concise, really short clips. And it almost happened at WAL. Neil Pickup was in charge of that project, and they went in. They got Mike A. Yellow going into a fire, carrying out. It was either I don't know if it was a pet or a person or a kid, but they actually got footage of him doing a rescue in a fire. It was super cool, but
That's
it
awesome.
never made it. It never made it to air because then with COVID happening and ESPN backing out, I mean all these problems, it never made it. But there were they had the right idea. I think exactly right.
That's cool. Now, as like for you personally, as someone who's running like an international arm wrestling promotion, is there any part of it that's more stressful than the rest that sticks out to you, like that you have to deal with? It's like, oh, that's a lot.
Well, I mean that part's all behind us now. I hope so. That was way worse than I could have imagined, and I think probably worse for the community than they could have imagined as well. So it's just good to have that behind us, and now things are really ramping up and better than ever, bigger than ever. This next card in Vienna is going to it's great, but then it just keeps getting better throughout 26. We've got the cards already finished for Germany, Cologne, Germany. Will be during FIBO. So you got 100,000 strength and muscle fans around the world much bigger than the Arnold Classic as well. So it's just, I don't know if you know FIBO, how big
Oh,
it is,
yes.
but it's just massive. There's 30 big buildings around the city full. Just it's huge. And so we got all those fans. It'll be the most well attended event for arm wrestling ever.
That's great.
And then also the card is really shaping up.
Yeah.
We've actually got, the card is too full. We've got too many matches already for the next card, and you'll be really, surprised. It in a good way. It's a very, very good card. Stuff that I would have never imagined could happen. It's all lined up for this event.
Well, that's
So,
a really.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Dexter had mentioned when he came on that sometimes the logistics are difficult because it doesn't make sense to like fly around a big, huge crew. So a lot of times you have to source people locally, and you haven't worked with them before, so it can sometimes be challenging. Is that still something you run into?
It is, but it's becoming less of a problem. So we're sourcing a lot of the same people in Europe.
Gotcha.
So it's getting easier.
Yeah.
But it is a challenge. It has been a challenge, and certainly in the past has caused all sorts of different issues, and the same thing in America too.
Yeah.
Getting the same crew, it's hard to do, but we're getting there in both end sides of the world, or all around the world.
Nice.
Yeah, what I was going to say in regards to, like, you're talking about the card for FIBO Germany. It's always fun when you kind of get like when the first set of matches start rolling out and you start seeing them on social media. It's fun to see, like, oh, I didn't expect this match, or I never would have thought this match was going to happen. Like all these, it's kind of like a surprise every day, or like a treat every day. You're like, it's definitely enticing, and it builds the excitement for fans to talk about these matches. So that's always intriguing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool to, and it just kind of comes together. In fact, that because there were so many changes with the Vienna card, we didn't know on the last match, which was Michael Todd versus Camille, but we kind of had to have that match because Levon didn't want to pull Michael until he was the next in line, or as far as rankings wise, it didn't make sense to pull. And I think everybody knows, that the rankings are probably not quite accurate, but logically, that's what it is. What it is, you really can't argue that part of it. But subjectively, I think people know, okay, it's not quite right. So we'll see that this will really settle things, and then and maybe Camille, will be going against Levon. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen on that, but I think Levon wants to pull Michael. He just wants to pull him as a top 5, puller.
Yeah. I hope we get to see that. That would be awesome. I know Michael has kicked around some ideas for that, for that match potentially if we get there. So, we're eagerly looking forward to that. And speaking of Vienna, the venue looks incredible. The stadium seating, looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's the best yet, and biggest as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Germany will be even bigger.
Yeah. That type of stadium seating is great for arm wrestling.
It is.
Because it is tough when you're sitting flat and you're pretty far back in a venue.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you'll have large screens for, the attendees to watch, but to really, I feel like to get that real arm wrestling feel of like, it's as real as it gets when you can be seeing everything and it's kind of as close as you can get to get, right up into the action. I think it's a great it's going to be a great event, and it's going to be a great space for that. So
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, there are pros and cons to both. I mean, if you look at Orlando, Florida,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a small ballroom, just packed to the gills. It didn't meet fire code, of course. I mean, it was just, and but the energy and the excitement level. I mean, you can't. It's kind of unmatched. You can't really do that in a big stadium. I mean, there's just, it's just different, right? And the same thing with Chicago. Chicago was packed beyond, fire code. I mean, it was way, um, uh, full, but the energy in that room was very, very high. I mean, it was the highest I've ever seen. It was the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, so it's hard to match that in a big stadium, but there's other benefits you get from it. Like, you've got, like you said, stadium seating is perfect because once you get about the height of the refs and of the athletes, and you can look down on the table from any angle. I mean, if you're in front or in back, it's fine no matter what. But on the sides, you really can't see until you get above a certain height, like about 8 feet, 6 or 8 feet, and
Yep.
then it's a great experience, a great angle. So we'll block off some of the seats on the sides
Mhm.
just so no one has a bad view. But yeah, we'll make this as good as it can possibly be. We'll do it more the style for television, which is better, I think, which is kind of a 360 degree, or you've got fans on both sides of the table, so you've got fan reaction, whichever angle the camera's pointing at, you've got the fans and the reaction. So this will be really good for that as well, and so will Germany.
Jeremy Parker says, Robert, Arkansas is ready for East versus West. We will sell out.
Oh, I believe it. No, Michael's already going to town on that. So he's such a good salesperson, and he's so committed to Armwrestling. Like, he's talking about all in. I mean, but you look at all of our champions, they're all very, very good like that. But Michael has got so much celebrity status and
Yeah.
influence in that state,
Yeah.
with his Hollywood Square basically right next to. I mean, so you got Bill Clinton, and you've got Sam Walton, the owner of Walmart,
Yep.
right? And then you've got Michael Todd. I mean, so like he's a big celebrity there, and I know once we send a press release out, Michael will be going from station to station, television, radio. He'll have the whole state there. I mean, I have no doubt about that. So
Yeah.
it so that will be a bigger event, and I'm convinced that'll be a bigger event than Vienna or Germany
Wow.
because
Yeah.
of Michael.
Yeah.
Maybe. So you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah. If the event happens there, that's one that I'm marking on my calendar because I really want to be there for that. That's going to be a historical moment if it happens. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing everything I can to make it happen, and Michael is definitely doing everything he can to make it happen. He's, I mean, can't ask for anybody that's doing more work and just getting. I mean, he executes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Ryan, I actually wanted to do a screen share real quick because I wanted to talk about this pass with EVW, the yearly pass.
hmm
If I could share my screen real quick. So right here, the 2026 season pass includes all potential add-ons like extended pools. I love this because I can buy this once and then I'm set for the year with East versus West. I don't have to go and buy multiple pay-per-views. I just do it once and I'm good for the whole year. It's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And if you look at it from that perspective, it's almost a 50% discount
Yeah.
from. So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, we could do it differently, and we could say, you know what, hey, the price needs to be a little higher or whatever. But by giving that kind of a discount, I think in this market where the economy is so tight
Mhm.
and a lot of people are, suffering. It's good to be able to keep it more affordable. Doing the same thing with Five Guys. I've got Five Guys in Canada, right? So
Yeah.
throughout the provinces, and we've kept the prices down because the market's been bad for years, especially in Canada, and so we haven't raised prices. We've kept them down so they're lower than the United States, and Canada is 30% higher than the U.S. on virtually everything,
Oh, wow.
including food.
Yeah.
So the margins are very, very small, very, very tight. But what's happened is we're only 23% higher than a Big Mac for this equivalent burger. So a quarter pounder for us and a quarter pounder for McDonald's, it's 23% more for a Five Guys. So it's almost like negligible. It's like, hey, you could have a 10 times better burger
Yeah.
for 23% more. So we're getting market share. So we're buying market share from not only our competitors in the better burger space, but in the fast food space. And
Mhm.
so volume has gone up like crazy, even though our profitability is very, very slight. When the market turns around, it's going to be great. And I think
Yeah.
the same thing for arm wrestling and for EVW.
Mhm.
We won't make money, and that's not the real intent. It's to get us to a bigger stage, get us to like a big broadcast subscription service, where we've got hundreds of millions of fans. And I mean, not yet, but hundreds of millions of viewers, which can convert into fans, right? So that's where we need to get to. In order
Yeah.
to get there, we've got to do what we need to do now in order to
Yeah.
make that happen. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're focused on, and been doing it the same way in Canada for Five Guys as
That's awesome.
with this. Yeah, and I think in the long run, it pays off.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges of arm wrestling is getting fans, because for the most part, we are the fans. So, it's arm wrestlers that are buying the pay-per-views and shirts and hats. But if we could get out to, the general public more and get some fans that are not necessarily arm wrestlers,
Mhm.
and also the double, the added benefit is that some of them will become arm wrestlers, which
Yeah.
will increase our sport, size. So
Yeah.
we've been doing something new where we do like a first timers, and we promote it in groups that have nothing to do with arm wrestling, like like Philadelphia events, and we throw out a flyer that says, first time arm wrestlers, come on out. And the first time we did it, we got 56 entries of brand new first timers, and then most of them came back to our next tournament and pulled novice, and then now they're all in amateurs. So we retained a lot of those guys just from doing a first timers. And I was like, well, we got to do that every time, because that's how we're going to build up the sport.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we've been doing that a lot lately.
Very smart, you guys.
Yeah, it's been working. So, Winter Blast now is the biggest tournament in the country, 1-day tournament so far. So we've been very fortunate to be able to say that. And we're trying to compete with Canada, because I know they have some big events there, because the promoters up there don't all hate each other. So here in America, if we all got along, we could have these big tournaments. But hopefully we're moving in that direction. So Canada, we're coming for Canada.
Yeah, good. Canada's a great market, huge, as you know.
Yeah.
We'd like to be in Canada as well. It's just so hard with passports. I wouldn't, and visas. I wouldn't have thought that Canada would be so hard to get it. I mean, the United States is very difficult now, especially with Russia's sanction. I mean, anything non-EU is extremely difficult right now. And I would have thought it would have been easier in Canada. It's actually harder in Canada.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
one of our-
Dexter talking about that, and yeah, like I know you've spoke about that as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's counterintuitive. I wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah.
But still, we'd love to be in Canada. I mean, that's a great,
Of course.
great nation.
Is that something you'll always be kind of trying to work out if it makes sense?
Yeah, as tensions kind of ease up, which I'm sure they will. Yeah, we want to make that happen. And I'm talking to Ian Carnegie about it, I mean, as well. So, you know, I've always wanted to work more with Ian. He's a great guy, good
He is a
friend
great
for
guy.
years and years. And yeah, he's awesome. So whatever we can do there, we want to definitely go into it. Like Ottawa would make a lot of sense as well, because that's where the Laugh World Championships are going to be next year. So it'd be cool to kind of build up, you know, get ready for that.
Yeah.
It's not far either from, you know, the Northeast United States. People can take a quick flight over there, drive, whatever. It's not too bad. So
No,
you'll get a ton of traffic.
oh yeah, tons. So you get everybody from Toronto. It's only a couple hours drive, and then you've also got Montreal,
Yep.
and Quebec, just border. I mean, that's how you're going to get Quebec easily, getting all those big cities, and the rest of Canada will. I mean, if there's like if you have Devon and Matt Mast on the card, you get the whole country flying in. If they're from Alberta or BC, too far to drive. So anyway, it'd be a big event just from on the Canadian standpoint, let alone all the people from America and other countries that will fly in to see it.
Absolutely. Got some good comments from the chat. Appreciate everyone tuning in.
We got let me see here. Rabbi Forklift says East versus West might have to look at neutral countries such as Turkey, India, where it would be easier to get around the passport restrictions.
Yeah, that would be easier. Europe is actually getting harder, even because it used to be you could, all of these, like Russia could go into any part of Europe pretty much at will.
Yeah.
And we're having big problems. I mean, we're doing it. I mean, we're making it work, but it's not easy. If you're coming into Western Europe, getting into for Vienna, for Germany, and we've got other places in Europe lined up as well this year, and none of them are easy unless you get places like Moldova. The 2024 World Championships was in Chisinau, Moldova, and it's westernized. It's a very cool city, very cool country, but there's no passport restrictions for the Eastern European, for the non-EU countries. So we're actually we are looking at Moldova right now. I mean, probably shouldn't say until we have it solidified, but we are pretty far along there.
Cool.
And then also some of these other countries like Azerbaijan, for example, very easy to get passports and visas into that country.
It was such a unique sport like this. You have so many people from so many different parts of the world in one room at one time. It's very unique, but it's also really cool because like me personally, I've been able to meet people from places that I would probably normally never meet these people, and maybe learn about their culture, their country, these different things, and it's all brought together by arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's very
That's
interesting.
what I love about WAF, going to the WAF events over the years, is you meet people from all over the world, and a lot of times you don't even speak their language and they can't speak your language, but you connect like your brothers and sisters, even though you can't understand them. I mean, that happened with me for years and years, and I've known Alajan Muratov for 10 years going to WAF, and when he was a kid, and he can't speak a lick of English, and I can't speak a word of Kazakh or Russian, and yet we just hit it off. I mean, it's the same way with everybody. I mean, like that's it's not just me, and it's not just him. It's just it's really cool. I mean, we're maybe the only sport that's like this, where you you just have this brotherhood. I mean, if the sport gets big enough, which is what one thing that's it's a disincentive to get bigger, is once these athletes are paid like real mainstream sport athletes, you kind of lose a little bit of that, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
but right now, because the sport is small and because it's such a community effect, and a fanatic community too. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you got people that really know their stuff. I mean, when I brought my wife and daughter to Zurich, Switzerland for our EVW 20 event there in November, they were just shocked at how many people knew. They were encyclopedic. I mean, they were basically encyclopedias of arm wrestling everywhere, all around. I mean, like there were people, there were guys that were going through. There was two guys that were in medical school or going through medical school, uh, and they very smart, but they know arm wrestling inside and out, and they're just diehard fans. Like,
Nice.
but that's normal, right, for arm
Yeah.
wrestlers.
Yeah.
And it's maybe even more so in Europe than it is in America. I mean, the
Yeah.
European fans, arm wrestling fans, especially in Western Europe, where they really haven't had, we haven't really been, EVW hasn't really been there except for Switzerland and now in Vienna. Fans go crazy.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we sold out of. I mean, we thought, okay, 1,500 people in the room. That's probably plenty, and it wasn't enough. We couldn't get everybody in. We had people in the lobby who could not get in, and we broke fire code, so we had to pay a fine basically. I mean that's the way it works there. So
Yeah.
you have to have the fire marshal there, and then you pay a little extra or whatever, and they'll let you. But we had people on the sides everywhere, just anywhere they could fit in, and so anyway, it was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. But the fans there are just wild and love arm wrestling. They're fanatical in
Yeah.
a good way.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about tournaments and scouting new talent through tournaments. So, what you guys have been kind of doing lately with tournament winners. You basically hold a tournament at every East versus West. You have a tournament coming up in Vienna, and you will be picking a winner, two winners, and then having them face off on the prelim card again. Correct?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a format that we adopted, starting in Atlantic City. We wanted to do it in Switzerland, but yeah. So we'll pick people from that tournament, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same weight division. So if there's a really good match in the let's say the 232 pounder 105 kg class, and then there's not one in the 115 kg or the 254 pound class, but we believe that the finalist from the 115 and from the 105 would be great. You can mix and match. I mean that's what we did in Atlantic City, because Duvon Bornman just plowed through his class. I mean, and there were good, very, very good arm wrestlers. You were there.
Yes.
You saw the caliber. And and this kid, 16 years late, just turned 17. And I didn't think he was going to be able to do that. But so we had nobody, there. And then also in the class below, Pork Chop was kind of the clear. I mean, he had some tougher. He really had his work cut out a little bit more. But at any rate, so we're letting everybody know on this one. It's whatever we think the best match is going to be. It
Yeah.
probably will be from the same weight division, but they're going to get on the stage. But everybody's going to get on the stage for the YouTube portion.
Yeah.
It's in the finals, so we'll take the finalists right through. We didn't do this in Atlantic City. We haven't done this before, but we're going to start doing that. So they'll get a lot of exposure. Actually, they'll get more exposure as far as eyes than the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah. Since it'll be just wide open for everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, do you feel the same way we do about the Borman brothers, that those two amazing kids are like the future of the sport?
Absolutely, yeah. I thought that as soon as I saw Rickard Borman, um, I'm like, this guy is the future. And
Yeah.
then, you know, but he had to win, right? I mean, so, he's got it all. He's got the charisma, he's got the attitude, he's definitely fanatical about it. I mean, all he thinks about is
Yeah.
arm wrestling and talks about his arm wrestling, and has changed his whole plans for life around arm wrestling. So is Devon. So Devon is, would have gone into rugby like his dad and like his brother, but he's actually pulling out of rugby in order to go to Germany.
Wow.
So I probably shouldn't have told you already, because so I mean, what we want to do is we want to get. So I'll let you guys have this kind of first before anybody else hears about it. But we want to put Devon with the WAF world champion in the youth, so to be like 19
Oh
years.
yeah.
It'll be older. It'll be older than Devon,
Yeah.
but same weight division,
Yeah.
world champ, and this is going to be a real test for Devon, but he's up for it. And
That's great.
So the reason I really believe in Devon, or believed in him before anybody really knew who he was, is because of Rickard. And
Yeah.
I was telling Rickard, you are right on. I mean, you've got a big future here. And he said, hey, my brother is actually better than me. He's stronger than me. He's a better arm wrestler. At the same age, he lifted more weight for in the gym. He's a stronger arm wrestler. He's going to be better than me. And for somebody to say that about anybody, even if it's your brother, to build them up ahead of yourself, tells you something about that person's character. So, so I don't know anybody else that would do that, actually.
No.
But that's what he did. And he said, hey, if you'll get Devon out here to Atlantic City, you'll see what I'm talking about. And and he showed me clips of beating like the South African champion, 100 kg champion, and back when he was 100 kg earlier in that year. And he's just been getting bigger and stronger and strong. I mean, like so now he's 115 kgs, and just earlier that year he was 100 kg. So, and he's not fat, right? So that this is all just muscle. So the kid is like, he's crazy good. And so, but then the story of the Borman brothers is a big story for EVW. I mean, it really helps us in so many ways. It gives a lot of new life into EVW and these other athletes that are coming into the league. Bogdan Stoika, big guy. I mean, and that was really from Arm Wars. Now, he was a European champion. He was a national champion. He was a WAF guy. So he was good, but certainly not good enough for EVW stage. And except for the last 2 years, he's been on a tear, a major tear. So, and then to do what he did at with Paul Lynn, only people who knew that was or knew that was a real possibility is Neil Pickup, Paul Lynn, myself, and some other people that are very close to Arm. I mean, you can't be a casual fan and think that Bogdan had any chance at all. In fact, in the polls, it was like 85%. I mean, it might have been even 90% in certain polls were favored. It was like nobody had Bogdan, right? But it turns out this kid is really good. And he's not really a kid anymore, but he's amazing. So, but then you also have Mayan Sharingas, coming from Mac. Ian Carnegie's been telling me about Mayan for a long time. Yeah. Devin's been telling me about Mayan for a long, long time as well. So this kid, he's 23 years old. He's he is really going to do well. I mean, I believe, and so we'll see him very soon. And again, and so another bright star, young
Yeah.
star. But we've got a lot of them. I mean, I mean, Jordan Sonoff has been in WAF for a while, but then he was banned, so we
Yeah.
couldn't use him for a while. And he's got a big future with EVW as well.
Yeah, we actually had Mayan on our show the other weekend.
Mhm.
Great interview, great guy, super humble. We
Yes.
love Mayan. He's awesome. And we actually have Duvan coming on at the end of this month on a Saturday. He's going to be on our show as well. So,
Yep.
and the great thing about the Bornman brothers is anytime I send Reichard or Duvan a message, they always get back to me. They're always like, "Thank you, sir."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always "Thank you,
super,
sir."
yeah.
It's my pleasure. Like they're
Yeah.
just so respectful and such great
Yes.
guys.
Yeah, and exactly, and they're always and it's consistent. I mean, they're always that way. Michael Todd and Rebecca told me the same thing. We sent Rickard and Duvan to Michael's house. We did some filming there a week before with Coach Ray came over with Tina and did filming, so we could do a little bit more kind of background story stuff and a little mini documentary. But then after the show, after Atlantic City, sent them over to Michael's. Michael's and Rebecca were great hosts and said, "Hey, these kids can come anytime." They were just, they're they're like 17 and 23-year-old kids that are way more grown up and mature and respectful, and every good thing you could possibly say is what they said, and what you and I have all experienced as well with them. They're
Yep.
great kids, which means and a great family. I mean, the whole family is just phenomenal.
Whenever Rickard speaks and he chokes up when he's talking about his brother, his mom, and family,
Yep.
that just like gets me. So I wrote like 2 times now. I've written an article, one about Rickard himself and then one about the brothers.
Mhm.
And both times their mother reached out to me privately and was like, "Thank you so much. My sons mean the world to me, and you promoting them like that and talking about them, I can't believe it. Thank you." Like they were so, and I said basically like, now we see where they get their politeness. And I asked her, what are you feeding these guys? But
Yeah.
super nice kids, obviously raised properly, and very, very, very polite and grateful.
Yes. Very. Yeah. Every good quality and virtue you can imagine,
Yeah.
they've got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's legit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're really blessed to have them in our sport and in our league as well.
Good role models.
Yeah.
Really good role models. And we need characters as well. I mean, that's what is going to sell to the new fans,
Yeah.
that are, the hundreds of millions of people out there that really don't know arm wrestling, or maybe have seen clips on social media of Devin, because he's everywhere and everybody knows him. I mean, even if you're not an arm wrestler, everybody knows who this guy is.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh,
yeah. But getting people to tune in and actually watch arm wrestling, that's another step.
Yeah.
But if we have these stories and we have these background stories, documentaries, and people connect to them and they become fans of that athlete, the next step is they're going to start watching them compete.
That's one thing in like the world of live feeds now that we have taken very serious, is making sure that any content we release of tournaments and things like that look professional. Because when people go to look for arm wrestling on YouTube, the last thing that I want anyway is for it to continue to be perceived as like a barroom sport that's not real. So we make sure like we have banners up. So even if it is at a bar, you would never know. because there's backdrops, tables, all the refs are dressed professionally. And I think a lot of leagues should start doing that. I mean, most of them are, but like some of the smaller pop-up ones, like have to think of the bigger picture. Like, what are people going to see at home when they're Googling or YouTubing arm wrestling? You don't want them to see like the Budweiser mirror on the wall, or like if they see banners and they see refs that have a dress code and take it serious, they're going to take the sport more serious. And I think that's really important in what we're trying to do here and grow the sport.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, maybe we need to let Devin know all this, Ryan, but get everybody on the same page. But no, he's doing his own thing. But it's funny. But for us and for leagues and for organizers, it needs to be professional. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, one funny thing is my uncle, I ran into him at a family reunion. I don't see him super often, but he's like, "Oh, so you got to meet Devin?" I was like, "You know Devin?" And he's like, "Yeah, I watch his matches on YouTube." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to meet him." Yeah, it's crazy.
It really is. In fact, you wouldn't know it unless you. I mean, like when you're just talking to people on the street. I mean, you'll know. People say, "Oh, you mentioned arm wrestling," and say, "Oh, hey, have you heard of Devin Larratt?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I've heard of him." And then, but they act like they really know arm wrestling because they know Devin Larratt, right? Because they watched his videos or whatever, but or his social media. But it is true. I've said this before on other shows, but he really cannot go anywhere in the world, and I mean anywhere in the world, without being recognized. And it could be in Mexico, it could be in Tijuana, it can be in Cancun, and I've seen both places the same thing. People just come out of the woodwork and they want their pictures with. I mean, they recognize them, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it's not just Mexico, it's not just the U.S., it's not just Canada, it's everywhere. You can't list a country where that's not the case.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true, like even in a country that you don't even think of for arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Like China, for example. So Dexter, is from Malaysia, but he's actually originally like his grandparents or whatever. I mean, are from China, right? So he's connected that way. Well, he says, people in China. So he's there now, in meetings and stuff, trying to break in. I mean, we want to break into the Chinese market, but they're not allowed to actually, connect to our feeds. They're not allowed to buy a pay-per-view. I mean, so it or any of those things. So once the government really loosens up and lets that happen, there's so many people there that are fans. They're already arm wrestlers. They're already big fans. We just don't know about them.
Yeah.
But they've told Dexter, hey, we know all about EVW. We know all about, like, they know everything. Like they're avid fans. I mean, huge fans of arm wrestling, and they know everything about our arm wrestlers. I mean, it's pretty amazing. But that's everywhere in the world, and of course, they all know Devin, right? So as well. So that's how big arm wrestling has become. It really is. Like, we're really primed for this, and there's just things that need to happen.
Yeah.
For example, getting on a much bigger stage with a much bigger audience.
Yeah. Yeah. When Devin did a seminar here in New Jersey with the Knuckles Up guys, and there were a ton of younger people there. So, I'm always going up and talking to people, introducing myself. So I'm like, hey, where do you arm wrestle? And there was like a group of 10 of them that were like, yeah, we don't arm wrestle. We just came to meet Devin. So they weren't even arm wrestlers. They don't even watch arm wrestling.
Yep.
But they had seen him like pulling like the Mountain and Shaquille O'Neal and wherever they saw him, and they all came out to just meet him. And I'm like, that's amazing when you have that star power in our little sport,
It is. Well,
he's got it.
Yeah, so Devin's loyal to the arm wrestling fan, like the arm wrestlers,
Yeah.
not the fans that just have seen him on social media. So when he came to Utah in May of last year, first time ever. I mean, I can't believe he's never been to Utah before. I've invited him before for years, and he's
Wow.
like, "Oh yeah, no, we'll go." I've been to his place. He's never been to mine, and so he
Yeah.
finally came, and um, everybody here, everybody in Utah. I mean, everywhere we went,
Yeah.
everybody knows him,
Yeah.
who he is. And then at the practice, we had a practice um, the week he was here, and
Is that
there were
the
too
one
many
where
people.
is that the one where you guys got in a little bit of trouble with Bob?
We did. Wow, you really know your stuff. We
Yeah.
got in a lot of trouble with Bob. It was actually me, because I'm like, oh come on, like, let's have some.
You stayed past the curfew.
We stayed past the curfew, and then so the guys were kind of in charge of it
Yeah.
in Bob's absence. I'm like, hey, I've known Bob for years. Come on, I mean, Bob won't have a problem. I mean, and I said, if he has a problem with you, just blame it on me. And that was my fault. But
Yeah.
I mean, getting all the people out of there, that was a problem, because
Yeah.
he has real strict rules. Bob does,
Yep.
Yeah.
and some of them don't have to make sense.
Right.
It's like, yeah, and it's like, okay, it's his property. We're going to follow the rules. But in this case, we had so many people at the practice, we couldn't get him out in time. I
Yeah.
mean, because it was starting to get time. We're like, okay, everybody got to get out. But everybody wanted to see Devin, and they wanted to get pictures with Devin.
Yeah.
And
That's
Devin,
hard. That's hard to end.
it was really, really hard.
Yeah.
But, with somebody like Bob, who's very strict and very anal and very OCD, it doesn't matter what the excuse is. It's just that, he's just really, really upset, right? So,
Yeah.
I knew that about Bob, so I should have planned accordingly. But this is even after Devin said, "Hey, I mean," and actually Devin's manager said, "Don't let anybody come. Don't announce the practice, otherwise it'll be just too big."
Yeah.
So we didn't announce it, and then Devin said, I don't want to have anybody there that's not an arm wrestler. So just fans. He didn't want to.
Yeah.
He didn't want to. Take time for
Yeah.
fans, but for the arm wrestlers, he took time for everybody. And
That's
so he's just very gracious. But you have to be an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would never get out of there with a room full of fans.
Yeah.
Actually, for King of the Table 13 in Atlantic City, I brought my Engen mask that I had made, and Devin offered to buy it off me, and I was like, just take it, you can have it. So he was having fun with that a little bit, and he thought it was hilarious that I had a mask made of Engen.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I was there. I didn't see it.
Yeah, he still has it apparently. So
Yeah, he's funny.
yeah, he had to have it.
Yeah, he is.
Well, Engen at one time kind of attacked 98 because he thought that we were saying that we represent 98% of the sport, and that he only represents 2%. And I'm like, no, that's not that. Like, it's just a concept where we're saying that 2% of the sport are like the elites, like Devin and John Brzezinski, and the rest of us are the other 98% trying to get there. And he totally did not understand what we were talking about. And he got real nasty with us. So I thought that was strange.
A lot of the issues there with Engen were communication, language. Yeah. I mean, I've experienced it over and over and over. I think everybody has that's been close. It's just the interpretation, language barrier, but also just thinking things that aren't really what was intended. So I totally get where you're coming from there, and so we're just really happy that things have progressed the way they have, and
absolutely going in the right direction.
Yep, and everybody's doing well. I mean, I think, except for if it wasn't for the economy, that is a limiting factor. I mean, people can't afford to go to as many tournaments. They have to kind of pick and choose a little bit.
And because the sport's growing so fast, there are at least here in the Northeast, there's a tournament almost every weekend within like a 4-hour, drive. So
yeah,
it's really busy.
You could pick a direction and drive in it, and you'll end up at a tournament somewhere. It's crazy.
That's great. Well, the Northeast is fantastic. It always has been such a hub for arm wrestling.
Yeah, it's very saturated with arm wrestlers. So I think that's why Winter Blast is one of the biggest tournaments. I think it has 100% to do with location, because if we throw it in the Philadelphia area, so we get everybody from like New York, Baltimore, even down into Virginia, and then out towards Harrisburg, where like Paul Lynn and all them are. Mm-hmm. We're just like right in the middle. And I feel like that's a big factor into our turnout. If we moved it anywhere else, like if we did it in New York, we'd lose all the Virginia guys. If we did it in Virginia, we'd lose all the New York guys. So, but yeah, we're fortunate to have a good location for that particular tournament.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you guys are in the right place and at the right time.
Now, I do have to ask this only because probably about 10 people told me to ask this. Now, and you brought up Bogdan. So you did make a comment about Bogdan being able to like crush Ryan Bowen. And Ryan took some offense to that and came out with a response video and all that. Has his response video changed how you're looking at it, or do you feel the same way as you did with your original statement?
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't change my statement at all. No, I know Ryan. I know his, I know, his history. I know, it doesn't change anything at all.
Okay. I had to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have Ryan on the EBW stage at some point, but he's not there yet. And to be honest, we really can't, have him on the stage right now, because of the kind of the edict for GVW is like, hey guys, I know you're pulling at GVW.
Yeah.
It was all based on lies. It was all based on total misinformation, and so I'm not faulting you for that. You believed it. I've actually believed it as well in the past. So I'm not blaming you, but if you have another event, if you attend another event and participate, we can't have you back, because it's direct attack against EVW. I mean, I mean, I don't have that feeling with anybody else. So, but under those circumstances, Ryan actually, he put his head down, is like, nope, I'm coming back, and promoted it like better than he's ever promoted any EVW event, or any event for that matter, and really tried to do some damage. So and even if he hadn't have done that, I can't go back to the other GVW athletes who I've told, hey, you've got one free pass and that's it, and say, oh, well, except for Ryan. Now, Ryan can have as many free passes as he wants, but Ryan burns bridges everywhere he goes. And that's just Ryan, right? And I know that. I mean, I know, the history, but I'm the one that got him back into EVW when Engen wouldn't take him back. And I'm like, come on, everybody deserves a second chance, or a third, or a fourth, or a 10th, or whatever. But I was wrong. I mean, like as soon as I did that, and as soon as he came back, immediately switches. I mean, so anyway, so I can never have him part of EVW. But as far as an athlete goes, yeah, I mean, if he's qualified, I mean, if he actually deserves to be on the stage, absolutely. But there's got to be a sanction period as well. Otherwise, my word means nothing to all the other athletes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Puts you in a position. So.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on about an hour here. Do you want to go for a couple more minutes and then we'll wrap it up?
Sure, whatever you guys want.
Cool. Yeah, we don't want to keep you all night, but we appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So, just so everyone knows, too, if you plan on going to Vienna, they do have hotel links, so you can get a good deal on a hotel. Be sure to go to evwsports.com, get all your information there. Always check all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and all those sorts of outlets. But so we actually have a couple friends of ours that are attending Vienna, such as Logan Bittinger actually started a GoFundMe, and we all chipped in to get him to Vienna. He wants to pool in the tournament. We just wanted to give him a little shout out. The guy's really working hard, really pushing to try to get get to where he wants to be. He wants to be at the top level. So keep your eye out for him at the tournament. We know he'll be doing well. And our other buddy, David Stone, he's flying out. He's going to be pooling in the tournament as well. Want to wish all those guys the best of luck. I'm sure it's going to be a stacked tournament in Vienna.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it won't be probably as stacked as the Swiss Open was. The Swiss Open is now the largest tournament in the world. I think it was before. You guys would know better than me, but it was very large. Certainly the largest tournament in Europe. I think it might have been in the world.
Wow.
But now it's about twice as big because EVW we kind of joined forces, and everybody knew that we were going to be looking at that tournament as the kind of where we're going to pull the next talent from, and so 25 world champions showed up.
Yeah.
I don't know of a tournament where 25 world champions show up.
That's
but
wild.
And then it was over 900 entries. So it was such a massive tournament. I mean, we've selected quite a few from that tournament into EVW. So you'll see them on the stage here, some of them on the stage in Vienna, but they're quite deserving. And I think we're going to see some new blood they're pretty fired up. We've got some great talent coming.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's your behind the scenes process of selecting matches? Like, is there like a little group of you that like bounce ideas off each other? Or?
Yeah, so basically, what is this? Snezhana Babayeva, that's Rustam Babayev's sister. She's a 10-time world champion herself and 2025 world champion. So she's the co-matchmaker with me.
Okay.
And so we decide the matches, but we use a lot of outside. And we want to use a lot of outside help. So before the matchmaking was not really done that way. We want to get more input and get more ideas. And I think the card, and it is getting better and better. Well, you'll see the cards are getting better and better, and they'll continue because we're using like the feeder leagues, like these smaller leagues that are great, like Ian Carnegie. I talk to him on a regular basis.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's sharing, okay, here's somebody, and I'm watching as well, but he's saying, hey, really pay attention here. Here's some people. I talked to Neil Pickup quite a bit with his arm wars, very friendly toward EVW and vice versa. Again, and so we talk a lot, and that's actually where Bogdan Stoica came from. And so, but I knew Bogdan before. I knew about him, and I knew his rise before, but it was really talking to Neil Pickup. And then there are others as well, but everybody's got ideas, and also the fans, listening to the fan comments. I know people want to see Ryan Bowen pull, but it wouldn't be close. It really would not. Trust me, it would not be a close. So people would not be happy at the end. Ryan is 0-4 in super matches. Now he did say on his video, "Hey, I want a qualifier in 2 classes in Chicago." That's not a qualifier. We don't have qualifiers anymore. That now, based on those performances, athletes are selected. For example, Philip Larson was selected in Atlantic City, or not selected, but he was noticed in Atlantic City in 2024 at King of the Table 13.
Yeah.
And that's where I first saw him. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, Philip is quite remarkable. And then Ian Carnegie was there, and he invited him to come to MAC. He proved himself at MAC, became a MAC champion, and then he was invited in onto the EVW stage. So that's where they're coming from. They're coming from the tournaments typically,
Yeah.
or if they're from the East, they're coming from WAF or the tournaments in Europe, because now we're having quite a few tournaments that are much bigger than they've ever been. And I think this Vienna tournament is going to be pretty big as well. Probably not as big as the Swiss Open, but it'll be significant. The one in Germany, that'll be the first event where we don't have a tournament, because we really we don't have room. I mean, so there'll be a small tournament at FIBO, and that'll be going on about the same weekend, but it won't be big. I mean, it'll be a smaller deal and not affiliated with EVW. So we might watch it, but it won't be anything like the Vienna or the Swiss or our EVW tournaments that we have in the States. Maybe we can talk to you guys too about your 98 about joining up as well. So I mean that's something we can talk about offline. But anyway, that's our process, and maybe it's not very scientific, but I think it works really well because you've got these leagues. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but like minor leagues, minor league baseball going into Major League Baseball. I mean, like that's where they come from, right? A lot of times they're coming from the minor leagues, and you pay attention. You want to have scouts out there. You want to have them, or from college, which would be like WAF, for example, would be where you're getting a lot of the especially the Eastern talent, but more lately coming from Western. I mean, Adam Warzinski took second at WAF this last year. You've had several others from Canada. Jocelyn Brisson, she medaled at WAF. I mean that's pretty significant for the West to be doing this well, and we are catching up. I mean, and you've got also guys like Jason Merlo, even though he lost to Mayan.
Yeah.
That does not mean at all that he's not coming back. In fact, he is coming back. That was his left hand is, I think everybody that knows him knows that his stronger arm is right, not left.
Right.
And he did very, very well left-handed with Mayan. And this guy's a prodigy, and did outside the straps. I mean, Mayan could not handle him.
The hand is crazy.
It's unbelievable. And so Jason's right is even stronger, right? So Jason's got a huge future with us, and another great young talent. So there's so many of them. I can't even list them all, but there's
a lot of guys in our area too, like Paul Cruz, Nick Stone,
Kevin Taylor,
James
Chelino making a comeback.
James Clark Jr. from New York.
James is a beast too.
Yeah. So we can always give recommendations. We got a lot of, and even some of the younger guys coming up are really good. So we can always,
Winter Blast.
Let's talk.
Winter Blast is a good one too, because there's some classes that have like 30 guys in it. So if someone wins that, they're probably pretty good. So we get some killers like Kevin Kaler. He comes to Winter Blast, and Paul Lynn talks him up a lot as like an under the radar guy that nobody knows yet. But
no, he's really good. I mean, Devin told me about him.
Yeah. I saw them pulling it.
Yeah.
He's
no joke.
No, he's not. Left-handed too.
Yep.
I mean, so we've got great talent coming from everywhere. It's just and more from North America. But as we get more fans and actually can afford to pay these athletes more like regular professional athletes, we're going to get more coming from North America, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that are just under the radar because either they don't travel or they don't compete that much. And that's kind of our goal as 98 is to try to find those guys and
Yep.
give them an opportunity to level up to where someone like you will notice them.
Yeah.
That's kind of our goal.
Yeah. Well, we should talk more about about some rising talent from North America, because
Yeah,
Of course.
we really do need to focus more on North American talent, because there's so much. It's so easy to find it in Europe, because you've got WAF, and then you've got these massive tournaments out there that you've got great talent pulling at all the time. I mean, it's quite an accomplishment when somebody from North America goes to Europe and does well or wins.
Yeah.
Even at a tournament, it's it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's something we did early on in 98, which I'm glad we did now, is I started a Facebook group for every state, a 98 group, like 98 Arm Wrestling, Utah. So what that has done for us, and we created it as a tool for any promoter to use. They can post in there, they can join the groups. But what that's done for us is the amount of data it gives us back as to like where parts of the country are busy, where there's more arm wrestlers. And like, if you're throwing a tournament, say in New Hampshire, now you can post your flyer in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, all the surrounding states, to the people that are most likely to go to that event, instead of posting it in like Arm Wrestling News or something that has like 30,000 people, but you don't know where they're from, you don't know who's seeing it.
Yep.
So we did it as a way to target areas of the country to promote better, and people are now starting to realize it and use our network. So, maybe that's something we could use to help you guys promote some stuff or things like that.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
But yeah, it's been working out really good for us to have that inside information of like, what's going on across the country, and some states are dead. And we're like, okay, maybe we need to throw something there to spark up arm wrestling in that area where it's a little bit slower. And then it also shows us the busiest areas of the country that are better for larger tournaments. So I'm glad we did that. That kind of worked out good for us.
Yeah, no, that's great. You guys are doing a lot of things right. And
Thank you.
And I think your franchise model for arm wrestling is visionary. It's very, very good. And
to me, the most important part of that is the networking aspect of it, because now that we can say like we're a national brand, like now sponsors are starting to come to us rather than us having to chase down sponsors. And we provide everybody in the franchise with like our medals guy, our t-shirt guy, and those guys are bringing their prices down because we're bigger. So everyone's using them, and it's just creating like a lot of really cool perks for the whole franchise. And like IFP, one of your sponsors, reached out to sponsor us, and now they created like a whole package for athletes that compete at 98, like some really cool stuff like that. And it's really just, from us growing and doing that franchise thing that we weren't sure how the community would grasp that. But I kind of did a funny post, like just saying, hey, how would everybody feel if we franchised? And within the month, we had 5 locations signed up, ready to go in the first month.
wow.
So we're up to 11 now, including one in Canada. And then
I know you've got one, Dave Wilson in Utah, that loves.
Yeah, he's very interested. Yep. And then we got a golf one, which is kind of funny, but but it's going good.
Breaking into new sports is awesome.
Yeah.
We're also tying in the arm wrestling with the golf too. So we're kind of, we're going to have some tables there at the golf tournament to kind of introduce some people to it. And I think Dustin Pools is flying out from IFP.
Dustin.
Yep, he's going to fly out to the golf tournament, participate in that. So you never know where it could take you, but it's interesting, and you got to explore a little bit to to gain anything. So it's exciting. You never know where it could take us. So it's fun.
Yeah.
And
Well, you got
Glenn from IFP is a great guy.
Yeah.
I saw you had him up on stage and stuff to talk a little. That was great.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll do. I mean, he's so all in
Oh
for
yeah.
arm wrestling and for the arm wrestlers, and he'll do anything for them. I mean, he's really remarkable.
Yeah.
We're
Great guy.
we're lucky to have him.
Here's your boy Benji Mack in the house with a $2 super chat and posting your link to eastversuswestsports.com.
Oh, Benji's awesome. He comes to all of our events.
Yeah.
And just he's amazing. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. A lot of after pool content. He was up all night.
Yeah. Well, he's somehow figured out how to get hundreds of thousands of views on virtually all of his posts.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
So he's helping arm wrestling a great deal.
For sure. Very busy.
Yeah. Well, hey, we don't want to keep you all night. I mean, thank you so much for the time you gave us.
Oh, absolutely.
And, hopefully, we'll continue to see the great things you're doing in the community and East versus West. You guys have made such a positive change in that. And I think there's not many people in the community that have not seen the turnaround and what you guys have done to improve it from the past. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. Appreciate you guys as well. And so that, so, and just to be clear too, I mean, what we're doing, I mean, we're making an investment into the future, but so everything that we're doing and everything that we can do to bring more eyes and bring more revenue is just going back into the sport. So so, I mean, I know a lot of people probably think, oh, well, hey, we don't need to buy the pay-per-view. We can pirate it. It doesn't really matter. But it actually, your dollars do go right back in to building up the sport, being able to pay our athletes more, which in North America is a big deal because in Europe, and especially in Eastern Europe, the government subsidizes these guys.
Yep.
If you're a last world champion, you're getting a pension from the government.
Do you think that'll ever happen here?
I don't think the government will probably do it, but as we grow and as we're able to pay our guys more, they can be real professional arm wrestlers. Right now, you only have a very small handful. You've got Devin Larrett, you've got Michael Todd. I mean, there's a guy named Julian Smith who moved to Utah from.
I know Julian.
From Allenstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
and he's now a full-time professional. I mean, like he's done well enough himself to be able to focus 100% on arm wrestling.
Nice.
So, he's going to be a big force because he's able to be like the Eastern Europeans. He's able to do full time. That's all he's doing. And as we're able to do more, and I mean, and also too, as we're able to do more, we're able to do more backstories, more and documentaries of our athletes, which all it does is grow the sport for everybody.
For sure.
So I kind of want to, I hope to get everybody that we're all together and growing the sport together because, it can't just be one organization for sure. It's got to be a community.
Yeah. That's the trick. Someone's got to figure that out in America to get us all working together.
That is the trick, and that's the trick in arm wrestling in the world too, because we got so many competitors to EVW. Like they smelled blood in the water with the drama this last summer, and so they just all went after it. I mean, and it made it hard. It made it really difficult, and we took many steps backwards financially. I mean, a lot of places probably, people probably would have to say, hey, we can't afford this anymore. But with a longer term vision, I mean, like that you have, and I try to have, Dexter tries to have, it's you can't just take a blip and say, okay, we're going to have to scale way back.
Yeah.
I mean, because if we didn't raise the bar and continue to raise the bar on production values and
Yeah.
broadcast quality, we would never get into the bigger subscription services, because
I agree.
they're looking for broadcast quality.
Yeah.
And if we're not showing it now, well, they'll never let us in. They're not
Yeah.
going to let us in on the hopes and prayers and promises that we will be able to deliver what they're
Right.
after. We have to do it now.
Yeah.
So
It's all about the production quality for sure.
yep. So
Yeah.
it's an investment. It's a I don't know. In fact, I'm sure nobody outside of arm wrestling doesn't have the true passion and love for arm wrestling would do it, because
Yeah.
and probably wouldn't do what you're doing as well, and they wouldn't do what Ian Carnegie's doing,
Yeah.
or what Neil Pickup's doing, because it's that passion that I mean, you've got to look past losing all this money.
Oh yeah. I never view it as a loss. I look at it as a reinvestment in the brand. Like we're still growing. So if we lose a little money here and there, I'm like, that's part of advertising costs and promotion. And
Oh yeah, no, and that's how you have to look at it. So
Yeah.
it's really not losing money
right.
when you look at it the right way, and that is the right way. It's an investment into the future, and what a lot of companies or a lot of businesses would do is they would just scale back and just like, okay, well, we can only afford, our budget only allows us to do this much. But
Yeah.
if we did that, we would never get to the bigger subscription model. I mean,
I
you
agree.
never get to the real big stage.
Yeah.
You just stay kind of where we're at, which is why arm
Mhm.
wrestling has always been where it's at. I mean, if you look at where we were with WAL, it was a business, right? First and foremost. So there's no arm wrestling, there's no arm wrestler behind it. No, and so as soon as the weather gets rough, it's like, okay, I mean, and that's normal. That's a normal business mindset, and you can't fault anybody for it. But
Yeah.
unless you're an arm wrestler and doing it for more than just the business and the money,
Yeah.
you would pull out. And,
Right.
and that's what's happened
Mhm.
over the years. And even if they did love the sport, eventually, if it's not sustainable,
Yeah.
and you can't lose forever, right? I mean,
Right.
so and you don't want to go backwards. So and then you never get to the, you never really get to the bigger fan base, and give everybody what everybody has always wanted, which is to be treated like a professional athlete in a mainstream sport. We've got to
Yeah.
get there. So anyway, I guess I don't want to keep you guys, but that's really what our focus is to do whatever we can to help the sport to get to its destiny, which is a mainstream sport,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and on television, on a real broadcast, not a pay-per-view.
Like similar to like Pro Panja has like Sony as a sponsor.
Yeah.
They have hundreds of millions of views and fans out there because
Yep.
of the sheer number of people.
Yep.
That would be great to get some of that here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and so Prapanja, they've done a great thing, because they know that no one's going to buy a pay-per-view in India,
Yeah.
and that's not how that economy works, and so they're not going to get money that way. The only way they can get money is through sponsorships,
hmm
and so they've really done a great job on that.
Yeah.
And now they're not able to get the top athletes that way,
Right.
but the production quality, I mean, the production value is great, and that's where as the next WAF World Champions ships are going to be, is in India. So yeah, I think we can learn a lot from them as far as the sponsorship side of it goes. It's kind of hard to get Sony or somebody big
Yeah.
like that to jump on, in America, where you don't have the broadcast. Where in India you've got is it 1.2 billion people now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So they got the numbers, and yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we'll end it here. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
And,
Thank
we're
you,
gonna
guys.
get into the live stream real quick. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.